This is Christine Brown, and while I have to listen to this podcast as my motherly duty, you have the choice not to. My sons sometimes say some naughty things when they're trying to be funny, but really, they're just being stupid. Do you still want to listen? Go right ahead. I am not your mother.
Welcome back to the Patriots Dynasty Podcast, where we go through and watch every single game of the Dynasty era. So in this case, you don't have to. We are currently working our way through week 2 of season 2005. What most people who can talk would say the 2005 season. We are in week 4 of the 2005 season. Patriots 2-1 coming into this game. And they're back home facing the San Diego Chargers, who are still in San Diego at this point. Why they moved, I don't know, but that's fine. With me today is a singular brother and nobody else. Greg Brown has showed up where nobody else would.
That's right.
Reclaiming
one of the group.
Reclaiming the crown of favorite brother that you may have already had. I don't remember. I wasn't keeping track, but welcome, Greg. Nice to see you.
Hey, Andy. I feel like we haven't done a bunch with just me and you.
Yeah, I'm not sure the last time we did one, just you and I.
Yeah.
Have we ever?
I feel like maybe once.
There's got to be at least one, yeah. Probably. But it's perfect.
Which probably means I'm the least reliable.
So your words, not mine.
Now that I'm thinking out loud. Yeah. And what are you going to do?
Yeah, well, not rely on you is what we're going to do.
It's all about setting expectations, Andy.
Oh, I understand.
Now I look great because I showed up.
You look great because you're wearing a beard.
That's right. It's my Celtics playoffs beard. It is currently the night before game 5.
Yeah, it's the night of game 5.
Celtics versus the Heat.
They'll be starting shortly after we finich recording this.
Should we call our shot? Celtics in 7?
Celtics, obviously. Celtics in 7. I'm wearing green, of course.
I got to tie this back to the Patriots, though. I think we've been spoiled by the Patriots, and it's like ruined sports watching, because watching how stupid the Celtics are is the most infuriating process ever.
I felt that about the past 2 Patriots seasons, or this past season especially. All the stupid mistakes you see him making, especially on special teams.
Yeah,
it's so it's so uncharacteristic, and yet that's how every team has always played, except for those old Patriots teams.
And teams that have the talent like the Celtics do.
Yeah.
And all you got to do is just play not bad.
Yeah.
And you don't even have to play great. Just don't do stupid shit. The whole do your job thing.
Yeah.
It makes so much sense when you see this team folding under the pressure and trying to do shit that's not working and not what they normally should be doing, and not what anything would be coached to do that. It's so frustrating to watch that you're why can't they just fucking figure it out?
Yeah. Yeah. Because the Patriots for the past 2 decades have always figured it out. And they were the team that did it.
And you know what? It's
the other team.
It's coaching. I'll give it to Belichick. It's coaching, because the Heat's coach is so much better than the Celtics coach. And it's just so obvious in this series. It's the talent gap is massive, and the coaching gap is just as big.
Yeah.
In the other
opposite
direction.
ways. Right. Exactly. Yeah. And the Heat are up 3-1. It just goes to show.
But the Celtics going to come back.
All right. Celtics in 7.
They're going to win tonight, blowout at home.
Okay.
Buzzer beater in Miami, and then blowout at home game 7.
Wow.
You heard it here first. Mark it down, baby.
All right. I will make sure that we post this on Twitter today before the start of the game. Greg's
timestamp me.
All right, done. 7:16 p.m. Thursday, May 25th.
That's right.
Timestamped. All right, beautiful. All right. Speaking of coaches who don't coach well in the playoffs, this Chargers team led by Marty Schottenheimer, who strangely enough was one of the few coaches who had a winning record versus Bill Belichick, at least in the Patriots when he was on the Patriots. The Patriots were 1-2 against Marty Schottenheimer led teams. You can probably guess what that one win was, though.
We haven't seen it yet.
We have not
coming
seen
soon.
it.
Coming attractions.
We'll see it next season. It was not a regular season win because That's Marty Schottenheimer for you.
But this is probably this. Actually, no, it's not the same team you would think of next year, right? Because it'll be a QB change.
That's true. But the rest of it's pretty similar. It still relied on LT being basically the offensive weapon, which he was in this team, and kind of onwards. Not just in the running game either, but like the passing game too. He was like third or fourth on the list in receptions or something ridiculous. And Antonio Gates, and then that defense with Sean Merriman and all those. Quentin Jammer, perhaps the best cornerback name ever. Yeah.
Ty Law.
I mean, yeah, but I'm just talking about name wise.
Yeah, Ty Law. I fought the law and the law won.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah.
Laying down the law. Come on now.
But Jammer as a coverage
Bucky
guy?
Jones, maybe an honorable mention there.
I don't know. I mean, that's just a good name. It's not necessarily a good name for a defensive back.
That's true.
Yeah. But in true Chargers fashion, this team would finish top 10 in offense, basically 13th in defense, and they still missed the playoffs at 9-7. But they were 9-7, even though they beat the New England Patriots here this week, ending the Patriots' 21-game win streak at home in Gillette, and also beat the previously undefeated Colts, which ended the Colts' prospect for a perfect season, and they still would not make the playoffs, just because their defense is kind of almost, or the defensive backfield is as atrocious as this Patriots one is. The Patriots have a reason. It's because everybody is injured, and you're starting the likes of Gus Scott and another Scott that I forget, and just these terrible, terrible names. Because everybody is injured. Basically everybody on this defense. Even in this game, they kept showing Richard Seymour on the sideline, like having his legs wrapped with something because he was playing through something, and everybody's just down. Kept showing Teddy Bruce. This was the first game where the rumors of Teddy Brucey coming back this season had started, though, because even Bonnie Bernstein on the sidelines was talking about it. Rookie of the year this year was the first round draft pick number 12, Sean Merriman, who we should probably talk about.
Yeah, he didn't even play all the games, right? Didn't he hold out? Still won Rookie of the Year?
He did hold out. I don't know if he missed any games because of it, though. Let me see. I remember, he had a 10-day holdout in training camp, but apparently did not break the starting lineup until week 7, but recorded 6 sacks in his first 4 starts.
Which is pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good. He's a good player.
He is. Also a huge scumbag.
Lights out.
Yeah. Do you know where that nickname comes from?
Yeah.
Apparently, he earned his nickname Lights Out at Frederick Douglass High School, where he rendered 4 opposing players unconscious in 1 game, 3 in the first half and 1 in the second half. Which
so he tattooed it on his arm.
Like that right there is
well, that's early 2000s, right?
It's true. It's also like you're headhunting if you're concussing 4 guys in 1 game.
That, Andy.
I mean, they're
high school kids. These kids could be fucking 110 pounds soaking wet. Anything that hits them,
I played high school football 110 pounds soaking wet. I got hit a bunch.
And it probably didn't. If you got hit by Sean Merriman in any way, would probably knock you out.
I mean, I don't know, maybe.
Definitely. Guy's a beast.
Was he a beast in high school though? Doesn't say that.
I think so.
I mean, I don't know.
He put up crazy numbers at the combine, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he did. You want him? What do you want?
Give me bench press reps.
Bench press 25 reps.
That sounds good.
40-inch vertical. I don't either. 4.64 in the 40.
That's pretty good.
Broad jump 10 foot 1 inch. 6'4", 272. That's pretty good. But he was drafted 12th by the Chargers because he was That was the pick that the Chargers got from the Giants because the Giants wanted Eli Manning.
That's right.
Eli Manning said he wasn't going to play for the Chargers. So the Giants traded Phillip Rivers and their first round selection the other year. And, all
right. So Phil Rivers is on this team, but he is not starting.
Correct. He was drafted this year.
Yeah. It's kind of an interesting story though, because you always kind of wonder, like, why did Drew Brees leave the Chargers if he turns out to be this like first ballot Hall of Famer, I don't know, probably top 10 quarterback in NFL history, right?
Yeah. I think he's second in history in touchdowns.
Yeah. And I always kind of wondered that. So I did watch a video on it, and it's honestly not a terrible decision by the Chargers to let him walk.
So what was the decision? Because I vaguely remember, but
so he's like a second round pick, I believe, Brees. So he's not like this huge, everyone is sold on prospect. Mm-hmm. And he comes in and has like a couple good years. But then they end up with the first pick after his third year, I believe. Mm-hmm. He went 2-9 that year, so like really didn't play that well. Oof. That's when they draft Rivers.
Yeah.
But they still start Brees the next year because it's early 2000s, so they don't actually throw these quarterbacks in week one like they do nowadays. So then Brees has the best season he's had as a pro. Pretty sure he makes the Pro Bowl. They, I think they went like 12-4.
Yeah, 11.
Made the playoffs. He was 27 touchdowns, 7 picks.
That's pretty good. That's real good.
Pretty good year. So they're like,
especially in the early 2000s. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's roll him out for 2005, which I believe was under the franchise tag.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So they're kind of kicking the can down the road.
Yeah.
He has like a meh season this year. Like you're saying, 9-7. They don't make the playoffs. He plays pretty good, but not crazy.
Yep.
And then apparently one of the last games of the year,
24 touchdowns, 15 interceptions this year.
Yep. They're playing Denver, and Schottenheimer, they had nothing to play for. They couldn't make the playoffs. And Schottenheimer didn't want to play Rivers because he thought the fans would like fall in love with Rivers.
Oh boy.
And he wanted to stick with Brees. And then that's when Brees gets hurt. He hurts his shoulder, tears his rotator cuff.
Yep.
And then basically after that, they're like, all right, we're going to let him walk. Because they didn't even know if he was going to be able to start the next season.
Yep.
So he was basically like not much value to him at that point. And then
they had Phillip Rivers waiting in the wings.
Right.
Too,
who had already sat for 2 seasons.
Yep.
The fans wanted to see him.
Yep.
He just missed the playoffs.
Right.
And Brees has a fucked shoulder that they were like talking like career ending possibly or stuff like that. So the Saints actually took a pretty big gamble to give him the contract they gave him.
That's true. Because
it's hard to blame San Diego for what they did.
Yeah. Weren't the because the Dolphins were in on him and Dante Culpepper because those are the two like top free agents quarterbacks, and they were also scared of Brees' shoulder, and so they went with Culpepper, who lasted like 1, maybe 2 seasons, and wasn't the same guy as he was in Minnesota with Randy Moss, because nobody is.
Yeah, the team doctors told him not to sign Brees.
Right, that's right. Yeah. Whoops.
Yeah, and then he does 15 plus years in New Orleans?
Yeah, with no issues to that shoulder.
Couple MVPs.
Yeah, Super Bowl.
Super Bowl.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the Dolphins would probably take that right now.
So who's the loser here? The Chargers, I guess.
I mean, I guess. They still, I would say the Chargers just because
the Giants, even though they won 2 Super Bowls. Eli Manning's probably the worst of those 3 quarterbacks.
Yeah, and he won more Super Bowls than...
And he won 2 Super Bowls, so really
he won more Super Bowls than the other 2 combined.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. I guess Phillip Rivers, maybe?
Yeah.
Having to play for San Diego and not winning anything? I don't know.
Rivers kind of sucks.
Yeah, he was. I mean, he wasn't as good as Brees.
Yeah.
He was good. He wasn't as good as Brees. Who was good at this very specific time was LaDainian Tomlinson, though, as much as I dislike him as a person.
All-time underrated.
I think so. Well, I don't know how underrated he is.
People don't like bring him up when they talk about like some of the best backs.
I guess. I mean, doesn't he have the record for most rushing touchdowns in a season?
Did they get broken?
I thought
got broken.
I think Sean Alexander had it, and then what was like Priest Holmes broke it, and then Sean Alexander the next year, and then LT was the last one.
It just kept getting broken like year after year.
Yeah, exactly. But this year he would go for 1,400 yards and 18 touchdowns. He also, I think, threw for 3 touchdowns this season.
Really?
Like that was like part of their thing. Like, because he had thrown a touchdown pass in the game before this, against where they played the Raiders, maybe. So yeah, but their whole backfield, this Chargers backfield back in 2005 was absolutely loaded because they had Tomlinson. They had just drafted Darren Sproles this year, who would go on to be like a great third down back for however long. Also had Michael Turner as like the change of pace back, if you will. Where did he end up? Did he go?
Atlanta.
That's right.
Michael the Burner Turner.
Right, yeah. And also their fullback was Lorenzo Neal. So between them, that backfield had a combined 14 Pro Bowls, 6 All-Pros in their career, and like 1 Super Bowl.
That's pretty good. That is a good backfield.
Yeah. And then the other big name on this team that you might recognize is your boy, Riche Caldwell.
Riche. Headlights.
Yeah. Did you want to talk any more about Sean Merriman? What he's up to these days?
Wait a second.
What?
I was just looking through the stats here.
Yeah.
Is Wes Welker on this team?
No.
Welker
started with the Dolphins. Are you thinking of Tim Dwight? Tim Dwight is
Welker's on his team.
On what team?
He's on San Diego.
On San Diego?
Maybe not at this point. In 2004, he played for Miami and San Diego. Then Miami, then New England.
Played for San Diego?
He played one game in San Diego.
The hell's that?
I did not know that.
I had no idea. Oh, we're going to have to look into that because that's fucking weird.
He had 4 kick returns for 102 yards in one game.
For San Diego.
Yeah.
That must have been...
Did they draft him?
That sounds familiar, actually, yeah. But he like couldn't make the team, so then the Dolphins eventually picked him up as like a special teamer. Like a kick returner sort of guy.
Dude, that's hilarious.
Yeah. Or maybe it was like a preseason. I don't remember. I remember talking about it on that episode that I did by myself, but that was ages ago, so I don't have the memory for that. Anything else about Wes Welker you want to
Doug Flutie, he's on this team.
Yep. Yeah,
Tim Dwight, Riche Caldwell, Keenan McCardell, interesting name.
Yep.
Antonio Gates. I watched a video on Gates if you want to talk about him later.
You can tell me about Gates, yeah.
Well, let's talk about Merriman, right?
Sean Merriman, yeah. He had some kind of off the field issues, you could say. I won't say favorite because it's not great, but I think the one that most people might remember was when he was arrested and charged with battery and false imprisonment because his former girlfriend, reality TV star Tila Tequila, claimed in an arrest complaint that he choked and restrained her when she tried to leave his home. So you can tell he makes really good decisions. 1 by dating Tila Tequila, and 2 by restraining her when she tries to leave his home.
That's your favorite one, Andy?
That's my favorite one.
Why is your favorite?
Because it mentions Tila Tequila. And that is a name I hadn't thought of in a very long time.
You haven't?
No.
Uh-oh.
Have you?
Well, did you hear the recent updates on Tila Tequila?
I have not.
Oh. The Nazism stuff?
Yeah, she's a Nazi. That's right. Yeah. That was relatively recent, but not that recent, right?
No, 2013, it's saying on her Wikipedia.
Neo-Nazism.
In December 2013, She posted an article on her website titled "Why I Sympathize with Hitler, Part 1."
Oh,
as
my
well
God. As posting photos of herself as a scantily clad Nazi posing in front of a photo of the Auschwitz concentration camp. Wow.
She said Ben Shapiro should be gassed and sent back to Israel. Well, that doesn't make any sense.
Right?
Maybe gassed or sent back to Israel. You're not going to gas him and then send him back.
Do you know what will help Asians earn respect? An Asian version of Adolf Hitler. I want that person to be me. I want to save the world from this Zionist disease.
She walked so fucking Kyrie Irving could run. Yep. Okay. Rehabbing. Suicide attempt.
Oh boy.
Sued Merriman for $1.5 million.
Yes. Wait, she
countersued.
Yeah, Merriman sued her because he claimed that she was improperly using his own Lights Out logo and disrupted negotiation for T-shirts to be marketed by Walmart. Yeah, he was big in Lights Out. He's big about the Lights Out stuff. He actually has started his own MMA like promotion called Lights Out Extreme Fighting.
Yeah, he's still around quite a bit. Like
doing MMA stuff.
YouTube him, and he's doing like media circuits. He's doing all sorts of interviews. Yeah. Did you see the article about them saying he drugged that girl that died?
Yeah. That was the part that where it kind of took a dark turn. So I have that here.
It wasn't the assault and battery on his girlfriend. That wasn't the dark turn.
Well, this is darker. Like that was, yeah. I think that was two people who had some mental issues, like being together. And I think you see that on a regular basis with people. You probably know some people that are like that. You probably don't know people like this, though. On July 21st, 2017, Kimberly Fattorini was found dead from an apparent overdose. Her parents filed the wrongful death lawsuit against Merriman, a nightclub, and others, alleging the girl was drugged and possibly assaulted before her death. Merriman was present when Fattorini passed out, and a friend of hers called 911. In the suit, Fattorini's parents claim their daughter sent text earlier that night saying Merriman poured something in her drink. They now believe that something was GHB, a powerful depressant commonly referred to as the date rape drug. When paramedics arrived midday July 21st, they found Fattorini unresponsive on the floor, half naked, with her jeans unzipped and unbuttoned, as though someone had tried to pull her jeans onto her body before the police or paramedics arrived. Her bra was twisted. She was not wearing underwear, though she had been earlier that night. The coroner did not perform a sexual assault exam by the time a detective requested one. In light of additional information he had received, it was no longer possible. And that is the last it says about that. So, I don't know what happened after this. It was 2020 that article was quoted. So it doesn't seem like anything came of it, which is kind of depressing.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's probably hard to prosecute something like that, I would imagine.
Yeah, I would think. Doesn't paint Mr. Merriman in a great light, though.
Yeah, there's some... Did you see some like text messages from some friend of the club or something that was like, he was like, yo, Sean did this.
Really?
He does this all the time. Yada, yada. Yeah.
Yes. Well, that's rough.
Yeah. That was what felt the most incriminating when I watched like a small YouTube video on it, but.
Yeah. Good Lord.
But he was pretty good when he was on the field.
Good football player, yeah.
Steroids, did have a steroid allegation, right? I think that was after his rookie year.
Yep.
He gets suspended for the first 4 games of the following season.
Correct. Yep.
And still has 17 sacks in 12 games and wins Defensive Player of the Year.
Right. And so I think a rule was passed. The incident led to the passage of a rule that forbids a player who tests positive for steroids from being selected to the Pro Bowl or winning any performance awards in the year in which they tested positive. The rule is commonly referred to as the Merriman Rule.
Yeah, so the take-home point here is steroids work.
Yep, exactly.
You should definitely take them, all the children out there.
Oh, yeah.
And don't date reality stars. That's probably the other one.
I would say, yeah, both of those are great. That was 2006 season, and the way that season ended, I think we all remember. But it was actually it actually killed the lights out dance that Merriman would perform when he got a sack. Did you know that?
Why?
So after the Chargers were eliminated in the playoffs by the Patriots that season, members of the Patriots began performing Merriman's lights out dance on the field in celebration. Merriman's Chargers teammate LaDainian Tomlinson referred to the act as showing no class and being disrespectful. In 2007, he announced he would no longer perform this celebration. Week 4, however, guess what happened?
What?
In week 4, he performed the dance after sacking Chiefs quarterback Damon Huard.
You can't give up the lights out.
Couldn't do it. Actually, no, he did it because
he had merch to sell. He had a garage full of T-shirts that said
lights out T-shirt. He claimed that he decided to do the sack dance again due to the urge of his teammates and to help revive the spirits of Chargers fans because they had started 1-3.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah,
I'm down with that.
I guess. Sure.
People love a good Sally.
Yeah.
There's nothing better than a signature celebration. Like the Randy Moss opening the defense one, that ruled for a seat. Because you can just like do it with your buddies at home. Anytime anything good happens, you can do that.
I love doing that. Yeah.
Yeah. The Jared Allen one. You know what I'm talking about?
Which one's that?
The spin looks like he's like mixing a bowl and then just throws it.
Oh, yeah, that's a pretty good one too. Yeah. I like that one.
Who else has a good signature one? Oh, what's his name from the Pats? Red sleeves.
Oh yeah, Judon.
His is like my favorite, and probably in the past like decade of Patriots players. So what smell the back of the hand thing?
Is that yeah? I just thought it was like wiping your mouth after like devouring
a big meal.
Yeah, exactly. Something like that,
right? Just the way he exaggerates it though is awesome.
No,
who else had a good one? I mean, the Ty Law Super Bowl one.
Yeah, Merton Hanks was good. Merton Hanks with the neck.
Yep, the neck. Yeah,
that was awesome. The Patriots running back who would draw the door, then kick it down.
Oh, Stephen Ridley.
Dude,
that still lives. I seen people doing that like in college last year. Yeah,
I love that one. That's
ruled too. Yeah,
low key.
Yeah. CD Lamb. You see CD Lamb's one where he does the smell the finger first down point?
No.
That one's sick.
Oh boy.
The Zeke feed me one.
Yeah.
That one's rules.
I'm not a fan of that one.
Come on, dude. Because when he starts like cooking and he's getting like 8-9 yards a chunk and he just gets up and he's like, feed me, bro. Feed me.
He doesn't though.
Well, not anymore, obviously, but when he was in his prime, that shit ruled.
Yeah, I guess.
Because he was unstoppable for a little while. It's just like 7
season
clip.
Yeah. That's true.
Cruz with the salsa.
The salsa was good. Yep. Yeah, that was good. Are there any quarterbacks that have any good? Somebody, I don't remember who it was. Somebody used to do the finger guns.
The finger guns is so lame, dude.
I know.
I feel like quarterbacks are too white, you know?
Baker Mayfield, didn't he used to do the money thing?
Oh, that was Manziel.
Oh, Manziel, really? Yeah. Well, I knew it was a Browns quarterback.
Yeah, that one didn't age well.
No, it didn't.
Oh.
Cam Newton had the Superman one.
Superman, yep.
That made sense. He was a freakishly good athlete.
Yeah, pretty good. I love a good signature Sally.
What about the whatever that one was that all the defensive players used to do after they got a sack, where they jump up and like land on their knee and blow their knee out? I remember it happened to like 2 people.
Oh yeah, some guy did it when they're like they were losing big time.
Yeah, it blew
Pittsburgh
out
or something.
ACL,
yeah.
But yeah, it happened against the Patriots twice. 2 guys blew out their knees. One, stupid.
I dislike the celebrating the end zone thing defenses do now, where they all go to the camera and
and they all pose.
Yeah. It's like, just be original. You know, exactly. Everyone's doing the same thing.
Yep.
It's dumb now. Move on.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. I mean, wasn't it the Vikings that were doing all the team celebrations when they scored touchdowns though? Those are pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, if it was sweet when it started.
Yeah, exactly. Where they're like
just
doing the bowling pins
now.
and stuff.
Yeah.
Well, the grenade where everybody falls when the ball hits the ground. That's
Yeah.
good stuff. I just thought of one. That's good. Doesn't matter. Question for you: do you consider the Gronk spike a celebration?
Yeah, for sure.
Like a Sally.
That's a Sally. It's a signature Sally.
Okay. Is it?
If you can say it, and people know exactly what you're talking about.
Fair.
Yeah.
I mean, people have written.
Or if you can do it, mime it out.
That one's tougher, but yeah.
I don't know if you the one in London.
Yeah. the Big Ben, he called it.
Might be the funniest shit I've ever seen.
That was stupid. No, I think the funniest one I ever saw was against the Steelers, where he just like beat on that defensive back the entire drive to get the game winner, and then like laughed at him and pointed at him on the ground and then spiked it.
Yeah, those are pretty good. Favorite. Although you hate it if you're on the other side.
Oh, for sure. Nobody.
It's got to be so infuriating.
Yeah, exactly.
You want to know the best celebration that's at? Did I bring this up a couple podcasts ago? Robbie Fowler in the English Premier League.
No, I don't think you did.
Oh, so he's there was like rumors going in. They were playing like a rival, and there was like rumors going into the game that like people had seen him out at a club doing cocaine.
I've heard this. Yeah.
Yeah. And he like scored within like 5 minutes of the game, and he goes to the end line and like snorts the end line like on his hands and knees like it's a fucking line of cocaine. They like suspended him for like 4 games.
I was gonna say, didn't he get in a shit ton of trouble for that?
Yeah, he tried to say it was like some like African dance that his teammate had taught him or something. His excuse is so ridiculous.
That's even better.
Yeah,
they're making up like an obvious bullshit excuse.
It was the most obvious because he even like did it twice. It's so fucking funny.
Just in case you missed it the first time.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah. I think the English are quite good at celebrating.
Yep.
Even their chants and stuff are way better than they are over here.
Definitely.
Like, my question is, you've been to a lot of English soccer games. How do you learn the chants? Is there like somewhere you go to like where you're in church and you just kind of like pass out the lyrics before people sing? Like,
I think it's mostly everybody them, like singing in pubs.
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So yeah, it's all just.
That's how I learned the ones that I learned. Is you just like walking around pregame.
I see.
And they're singing the whole time, like leading up to the game, walking there, you know,
in the game, walking home. Yeah.
I mean, so you hear it 50 times in a row. You're like, okay, I understand the words now.
Because it is like the entire stadium is doing the same thing. It's like, hey, how do you get all on the same page? It's impressive.
Yeah, it must be pretty sweet to be a guy that started one that just like caught on like wildfire. Now everybody's singing it.
Yeah, absolutely. Because they're all pretty clever, but I feel like if we put our mind to it, we could come up with something. If that's where we were instead of doing Pages podcasts, I bet we could have come up with a good one
for sure.
Because we're clever, but we're also assholes. So I think that's a good mix. That's kind of what you need to come up with something like that. Speaking of the Patriots, I don't think we've actually talked about this game at all, have we? If you're going to watch this, I would say watch the first half and that's it. Because the Patriots, in very, I think, unpatriot-like fashion, played a great first half and then just disappeared in the second half. Just didn't show up. And usually kind of, especially in these early Patriot seasons, it's the other way around. The Patriots maybe struggle a bit in the first half and then make their adjustments. And now all of a sudden they've, figured out the other team's offense or figured out the defense and start moving the ball. But this was not that. They posted a stat that like yards by first half and second half. San Diego in the first half, 188 yards to Patriots 243. And in the second half, the Chargers had 243 total yards. The Patriots had 61, which that is not good. And it didn't even look that close. But the Patriots were moving the ball up and down the field in the first half. But the first drive ended with Vinatieri missing from 37. And that's never a good feeling. That's one of those things where, because I don't actually remember this game, to be honest. I don't know what was happening in 2005 with me, but this was a new experience watching this. I didn't remember any of it. But when you see Vinatieri miss from 37, it's like one of those things where you kind of get the feeling it's going to be a long day. Because the last time he had missed from inside 50 was 2003 playoffs, apparently, against the Jets.
Wow.
So it had been a while, yeah.
Second half possessions from the Pats. Punt, 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 interception, interception, end of game.
Yeah.
Chargers, touchdown, field goal, punt.
Yeah. And that punt was just like them running 2.5 minutes off the clock.
Yep.
But you'll notice their first drive of the fourth quarter, 15 plays, almost 9 minutes, 72 yards, and a field goal. And they didn't even need the field goal. It was backward. Yeah, all three of the Chargers had, 1, 2, 3, 4 drives kind of in a row around the house. So the last drive of the first half and then all the drives in the second half, 78 yards, 80 yards, 75 yards, 72 yards. And all of those ended in scores, 3 touchdowns and a field goal.
Some ball control right there.
That's just, yeah. And it wasn't even like, it didn't feel like the Patriots were necessarily getting gashed on the ground, even though I think they gave up like a bunch of yards to LT by the end of it. But they couldn't get off the field on third down. And that I remember. I feel like we see that with Patriots defenses over the years every once in a while, where they just cannot get off the field on third down. That's what this was.
Matt Patricia.
Exactly. Yeah. It felt like one of those defenses.
I hated the Matt Patricia years.
Yeah. That was like the epitome of bend don't break, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was awful.
Except they would break often. Although having said that, the Patriots did hold on the first drive. The Chargers went 3 and out, which means that the Patriots still have not given up an opening drive touchdown in 17 straight games. I don't know what the record is, but it's one of those things where it's like really hard to Google. So I don't know. And they actually looked okay in the first quarter and a half. Didn't give up much, and the Patriots were actually moving the ball. Like I said, they had the missed field goal, but they scored 2 touchdowns and a field goal in the first half. So the game actually went into halftime, tied at 17. Did not end that way. Final score 41-17 Chargers. And it probably should have been 34-17, but the Patriots actually sat Tom Brady for the last drive and put in your boy Matt Castle.
Really?
Who, yeah, I believe it was either the first or second play of the drive. Threw an interception for pick 6.
Matt Castle, huh?
Matt Castle threw a pick 6. And it was actually pretty good. I don't know who.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. But I think the pick 6 was actually pretty good because it was I don't remember which one it was. It was one of the linebackers intercepted it and then immediately turned and lateraled it to one of the defensive backs because he knew he was faster. And that guy just ran 40 yards untouched for a touchdown.
Was it Donnie Edwards?
Clinton Hart was the one that returned the touchdown for the interception. I don't know.
Was it Donnie that picked it off though?
I don't remember. It very well could have been. That sounds right.
He had a pretty good game.
I didn't dawdle on it. Yeah, he did. More so than I think any other player on this defense.
Yeah. He had an interception, 11 tackles, 1 tackle for loss, 1 pass defense.
Yep.
Pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, this was kind of a strange game because the special teams are actually playing better than they have all season. Because that's kind of been the weak spot. You had Bethel Johnson back returning kickoffs like to the 50, which is pretty great. It's actually set up one of the Patriots touchdowns in the second quarter. You have Tim Dwight, who I don't know if you remember the Tim Dwight days, but I remember getting super hyped for him. Hoping he was going to be like basically the Tim Dwight that he was in San Diego. Kind of what the prototypical Edelman Welker role was. So especially since it was kind of like getting towards the end of Troy's career too. 2005, I think he retired in 2000 or after 2007 season. So we're like in his twilight days. But his punt returns have been great, and he actually made a ridiculous catch for a touchdown in this game too. Nice deep ball to him over his former team, the San Diego Chargers. So that probably felt good. But then you didn't really see him much again, I don't think. What was his stats? What did he end up with?
He never really was that good.
He never lived up to the hype that I had in my mind.
Well, even on the other teams he played on.
I thought he was okay on the Chargers for like a year or two.
His best season is 50 catches.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
With 2 touchdowns.
That's less good. He's a possession receiver, apparently. I don't know.
Yeah, it's an old NFL stats are different back then too.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, didn't Welker had like 100 catches in 3 seasons and still like didn't have a ton of touchdowns.
Wes Welker.
Let's see.
Just a twinkle in Belichick's eye at this point.
Yeah. Not even maybe because he's not seeing the field, so there's no tape on him.
Well, Gates had a pretty good game. 100 yards receiving.
He did. He would have a great season this season, actually. He was a 1,000-yard receiver with 10 touchdowns. He led the team.
Did you know he played basketball at college?
Wait, really? You didn't play football?
Did you know Ryan Fitzpatrick went to Harvard?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did you know that Patrick Mahomes, his dad, played baseball?
Yeah. Shortstop. Yeah, that's why he throws it sideways sometimes.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's why he could throw the run so well because his dad played baseball.
Yeah, he is a pretty crazy story though. Yeah, like he was like highly recruited for football. He just didn't want to play.
Why? Just because didn't want to get beat.
He just liked basketball more.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah, he like went to Michigan State. Dude, apparently Saban coached at Michigan State.
Yeah.
Did you know that? He recruited Antonio Gates.
No shit.
Yeah. And apparently Gates was under the impression that he was going to play basketball there too.
Yeah.
But when he got there, they were like, no, you're just playing football. And like, there's some like confusion about whether he like understood the recruiting process like at all. So yeah, he left there immediately. And then, went to Western Michigan, like failed out there, went to JUCO.
All right.
And then where did he end up? Kent State.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Kent State. And
the same Kent State that
non-positional prospect factory.
No kidding, right? Yeah. The positional crossover factory.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah. So he didn't even play. He didn't play football. I don't even know if they have a football team. Do they? Kent State.
Kent State, isn't that where?
I guess Edelman. Yeah, he must have. Right. Yeah. But he played basketball there. They like made a run in March Madness, and he was like maybe not the best player, but one of the best players. They like upset a couple teams, went to the Elite Eight. So he was like sold on his NBA dream.
Yeah.
And it just like wasn't going to happen. He just didn't have a body type for the NBA. Wasn't tall enough. And then his college coach or the college football coach there, I guess, like was his high school football coach. And he just like sent out a bunch of letters to NFL teams, like without Gates knowing, being like, come watch this kid practice. It's worth it. And like the Chargers are one of the people that showed there. And the guy was like, you'll be, if you sign with us, you'll be in the Pro Bowl in 3 years. And then he was in the Pro Bowl in 2 years. So he was like an all pro his second year in the league.
Yeah.
He like set the single season record for touchdown receptions by a tight end. Like he went from not playing a snap of football in whatever, 3-4 years to walking onto an NFL team and being basically the best tight end in the league within
2 years,
a year and a half.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That just shows you how like, that's why people draft on measurables, not game tape.
Yeah. But how often does it really work though?
I don't know, but I feel like that's what gets like scouts like a hard on is like, I found the diamond in the rough.
That's right. Well, where was he drafted? Like, was it high?
I don't think he was drafted. I think he was just signed.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Cause he didn't even play football. Only 6 teams showed up to like see him.
That's fair.
Oh, maybe he did.
Let's see. Here we go. No, you're right. He's an undrafted free agent.
Undrafted?
Yeah. After being told by scouts he was too much of a tweener to make the NBA. He's only 6'4", that's why. He arranged a workout in front of NFL scouts. Despite never having played college football, as many as 19 teams were believed to have contacted Gates about a tryout. Chose to work out first for the Chargers. Recognizing his potential, the Chargers immediately signed him to a contract. There you go. Lost in the disappointment of San Diego's league worst 4-12 record in the 2003 season was Gates' rise from third string to starter. Made his first catch in week 4 against the Raiders, scored his first touchdown in week 10, enjoyed his first 100-yard receiving game in week 15. Good Lord.
And then he scores 13 touchdowns.
Yeah.
So that would have been the year prior to this game. So this is his third year in the league.
Yep.
He has 89 catches for 1,100 yards and 10 touchdowns this year. So he's 3 straight years of first team All-Pro, Pro
in
Bowl.
This 2005 season, he actually held out for a contract extension.
He's a monster, dude.
Yeah. So he goes from not playing football to signing a 6-year, $24 million deal with the Chargers.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It does make me mad when I see athletes that are like, they'll be like, well, what would you do if you didn't play football? I'd be like, I'd probably be a basketball player. And you're like, damn it. He's probably right. That could be his fallback plan is like
a different
dream I can't even fucking think about having, you know?
It's rough. It's absolutely rough. Goodness. All right. Do you want to do best and worst?
Sure.
All right. You go first.
Well, I did want to bring this up, Andy.
Oh, okay.
I saw in your show notes, you mentioned that Brian Schottenheimer was the offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
And you made some sarcastic.
I said nepotism goes a long way.
Nepotism, yeah. Do you feel the same way about Steve Belichick?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Having said that, Steve Belichick is very good at what he does, as is Brian Schottenheimer.
Here we go.
Brian Schottenheimer was an offensive coordinator for 12 years in the NFL. Like, it wasn't just with his dad. So, you know. And yeah, Steve Belichick is...
So is nepotism a bad thing?
I think it can be, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it prevents people, like legit people, from getting a shot.
Yeah. Honestly, all those discussions about like why aren't there more like black head coaches? I think it honestly has a lot to do with like nepotism.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Yeah, where it's not like who's the best candidates, who knows and who's going to give you a chance.
Yeah. It's like any I think any other profession. It's not what you know, it's who you know. You know?
It's not who you know, it's who you blow.
Well, if you don't know anybody, yeah, for sure. It's a lot easier.
That's what I always say, Andy.
I bet it is.
Along those lines, one thing I cannot stand in sports is college basketball coaches that have their sons on the roster.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a big thing.
Yeah.
It's all the time. It's always the last guy off the bench is this fucking white guy who plays fundamentally sound, but is super athletic on like these Power 5 blue blood teams. And you're like, why the fuck is this kid on the team?
Oh, because his last name's Krasinski. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Jim Boeheim's son. It's like, fuck this kid. Like he should not be on this team. He's taking a fucking roster spot and no one acknowledges that it's like fucked up.
Yeah, I don't understand.
And it makes it even worse that like you got to think like college basketball for like a pathway of like inner city kids who are super talented. This might be their only way out. And then Jim Boeheim, this fucking millionaire, who's probably like the highest paid state employee in the fucking whole state, is giving that spot to his goddamn son, who fucking sucks. Like that shit drives me crazy. It drives me crazy.
I just want to say, I think we should do more just you and me because you sound a whole lot like me when it's just us. Get mad about it, Greg. Tell me more.
Old man yells at class.
Old man yells at college players. Beautiful.
So yeah, that's my. What am I
off your lawn?
What's my bet? Maybe we should do a new segment. Get off my goddamn lawn.
Yeah. All right.
That's where you can get out your commentator and referee rants, and I can get off my college basketball coaching rants.
Perfect.
Yeah.
No, so
do you have anything on the commentators?
No, not on the commentators because I didn't really give a shit. I love Bonnie Bernstein. B squared.
Bonnie Bernstein?
Yeah.
She's the sideline?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was Simpson. I actually wrote the commentators were Simpson, whoever the fuck does it with him. I don't remember.
That's about as much praise as you could get out of Andy Brown.
Yeah. I will say the referees are calling super soft defensive pass interference in this game, though.
Oh no.
Yeah. Just like, the whole like not actually touching the guy but not turning your head, so it's defensive pass interference. Oh, fuck off. That's not pass interference. But that might be left over from me playing soccer last night and getting a whole bunch of calls that I didn't think were calls.
You guys got refs?
Yeah. It's co-ed, so they're you can understand what kind of refs they are.
You got blue card, Andy?
I didn't actually, but I got called for a bunch of calls that I didn't think were actually legit fouls because when I foul somebody, you know about it.
Did you let them know that?
Oh yeah.
Do you play less hard against the females in co-ed?
No, because the girls in co-ed play harder than the guys do.
I know it's really unfair.
Yeah, they kick the ever-loving shit out of you.
But then if you follow them back, it's like everybody's like, oh my god, just calm down, man. It's like fuck you, you know.
It doesn't bother me at all. I'm not here to make friends. No, my thing is I play to the intensity of the opposition. So if they're gonna be friendly with it, cool. I'm cool. But if you're gonna go in hard and act like there's some fucking scouts here to watch you play, I'm gonna kick the shit out of you. Because calm your tits, like we got work tomorrow.
You can say the same thing about you.
Well, yeah, but I am just a mirror for how they are playing. So that's all.
It's very noble of you to let them know, Oh,
I tell them too.
Yeah.
Usually after I foul them, I will let them know what I'm doing. Yeah, so soft pass interference on both sides. The Patriots deep touchdown to Tim Dwight, they actually called pass interference on it, even though the defender didn't touch him. And then Chargers had a deep incompletion that was pass interference. It shouldn't have been. That set up a LT touchdown. Garbage. So get off my lawn.
What's your best? We haven't said many positive things here.
My best is Troy Brown in this game. He had a catch that looked very similar to the catches you see in Amendola highlights. That kind of like jump in the air and twisting his body to like make the catch kind of like it's a back shoulder throw, but it's on like a seam route. So he has to like jump behind the defender sort of thing. You know the catch I'm talking about?
Yep.
That he always makes? Yeah. Troy Brown had one of those back in 2005 and it was dope. And he's still doing that at whatever age he was in 2005. Not
surprise. Andy's best is Troy Brown.
Yeah. Or how about this? My best is Adam Vinatieri making Connor look like a fool by missing a 37-yard chip shot. Is that better?
Yeah, that's a spin zone, but I'll take it.
And I think my worst is seeing Corey Dillon running in the same game that you see LaDainian Tomlinson run. It's just night and day. Corey Dillon just looks like he's lumbering around the field.
Getting a little old.
Yeah, those legs just aren't keeping him up the way they used to.
Yeah.
And then they showed a stat where he's averaging 2.5 yards per carry in the season, and that's rough. Like they actually showed, I think I have a screenshot of it there, the season averages from last year to this year. His rushing yards per game last year, 109 per game. It's pretty fucking good. This year he's at 53. Yards per carry last year, 4.7, which I think was the Patriots record. Averaging 4.7 yards per carry in a single season. This year, 2.7. And then runs over 15 yards. He had 23 last season, which is not quite 2 a game, but close. So far this season, he hasn't had any up until he broke one early in this game for like 30. So tough to watch Corey Dillon break down, especially when it's contrasted with LT in his prime, and he's just like running people over, running around people, and he just looks quicker than everybody else in the field. So that's tough. So what about you? What's your best and worst?
Best for Rashay Caldwell's got to be a best.
Yeah, he had a great touchdown catch in this game. Yeah.
The underrated Rashay Caldwell had a great reception for a touchdown.
Yeah, it was a good catch. I'll give him that.
Dude, his career is pretty bad.
Is it?
Yeah, I thought it'd be way better.
I didn't.
The most catches, he only had 4 years in San Diego, and his best season was 28 catches.
Well, they were saying that he started to break out in 2004, but got hurt and missed a bunch of the season, which is why.
Oh, yeah, 6 games. Yeah, he's been hurt the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, he sucks.
I've been telling you this for 15 years now.
People hated on him, though. I just felt bad for him.
That's fair. Yeah. I feel
probably because I thought he was playing above his pay grade, which apparently he was.
Yeah, he definitely was in that 2006 season for sure. He was not a number one receiver. Catches. Not a number one receiver, but yeah, did
for 760. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's not bad. What's your so that's your best? What's your worst? Finding out how bad Rashay Caldwell was.
Yeah, I feel like I've ranted enough on negative things today.
All right, fair enough. Well, here's one little nugget for you. That's I'll let you decide if it's a positive or negative. But Kevin Falk got injured last week too. Apparently, I didn't realize that when we talked about the game, but he wasn't there, and in his place, the Patriots had signed your boy Amos Zaraway during the week.
Wow, I haven't heard that name in a while.
Famous Amos, right?
Yeah.
Apparently, he only ran the ball 7 times this season for 14 yards. And he was then cut by the Patriots and eventually retired. But in a 7-year career, he rushed for 2,000 yards and 10 touchdowns. Not bad.
Famous Amos.
Famous Amos, baby. And then he opened an African-French restaurant in Manhattan called Zaraway. Hell yeah. Oh, no shit. He also keeps fit by playing for the first team of the well-known New York City amateur soccer club Central Park Rangers FC, using his athletic skills to transition to a top scorer for the flagship team of the club.
Fallback career. Professional athlete.
Professional soccer? Is that what you can do?
Dude, have you seen Steve Nash? Have you seen him play soccer?
Yeah. I've seen him juggle a basketball.
Dude,
Darren warm-up.
I saw a video the other day. He's walking downstairs one step at a time and juggling a tennis ball.
Damn.
As he walks down the steps. I could practice my whole life and not be able to do that.
I
played soccer my whole life.
I struggle to walk downstairs without any juggling or anything.
That's incredible. Just trying to juggle a tennis ball by itself is really fucking hard.
It is really difficult.
Never mind juggle as you walk downstairs.
Yeah. Steve Nash would have quit basketball to play soccer if it wasn't for Michael Jordan and Spike Lee. Yeah, he
went and trained with a couple teams, I think.
Grew up in a family of soccer fanatics.
Yeah.
But they found a permanent home in Victoria, British Columbia. Started playing soccer and hockey regularly. Yeah.
I think he trained with the Red Bulls or something one time, and all the players came away and were like, yeah, you would never know he wasn't just a member of the team. He's that good.
Yeah. But he didn't start playing basketball till he was a teenager, and immediately had a knack for the sport. His in-depth knowledge of soccer, the ultimate team sport, helped him to thrive as a point guard. Could have played either soccer or basketball at the next level, so he had a tough decision to make after high school. But he chose basketball over soccer because of his love for Michael Jordan and Spike Lee. Sure.
Must be a tough decision.
Nash growing up, his favorite soccer team was?
Pro athlete.
His favorite soccer team was Tottenham.
Ugh.
Oh. Yeah. Yep.
Well, how would you pick that?
Right. You picked Sunderland, so.
But I had a reason.
He probably did too. All right.
All right, who we got next week?
Who do we have next week, Greg?
The 2-2 Patriots.
Yeah.
I don't know. You tell me.
They are facing the Atlanta Falcons in Atlanta, I believe. Let's double check. Yes, in Atlanta, in the Georgia Dome. 3:18 p.m. Sunday, October 9, 2005. Sorry, the start time is 1:05. The game time was 3 hours and 18 minutes. Patriots looking to bounce back. And actually, the commentators in this game, Phil Simms, when the Patriots are getting the doors blown off at the end, he's like, you know who I feel bad for? The Atlanta Falcons. Because the Patriots are going to be pissed off that they lost this badly.
Matt Schaub, the 3-1 Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah, 3-1 Atlanta Falcons, who are riding high for whatever reason. We'll have to find out. Because again, I have wiped this entire season from my memory, so I don't remember. Oh wait, was this the Michael Vick era Falcons, like early Michael Vick?
No, this is Schaub.
No, I know, but I think Vick got hurt the week before, and so everybody's like, "Oh well, you know, the Patriots are prepared for Vick. What will Matt Schaub do?" And I feel like I remember like Matt Schaub playing better than he should have and being super pissed about it. So we'll see if that's the case.
It looks like Vic played in the week before, but only partially.
Yeah, so I bet that was it. Because
Vic versus Culpepper, that must have been interesting.
I was terrified of the Patriots, this Patriots defense, especially playing Michael Vick, because they have not played well. Because they have lost basically the entire middle of the defense with Teddy Bruschi gone and now Harrison out for the year too. Rodney Harrison. So we will get more into that game next week.
I hope they win.
I hope they do too.
Looks like
but until then. Also one last thing to get you down. This game, and Patriots giving up, was it 41 points? Was the second most they've ever given up at Gillette. It was tied with that 49ers loss in the rain. Remember that one?
I was actually thinking of that game when you mentioned that stat.
Yep. That was also 41 points they gave up to that 49ers team with Kaepernick. But they actually gave up 42 points in the 2017 season opener loss to the Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that, where Kareem fumbled the first time he touched the ball?
And then destroyed.
Yeah. That scored like 3 or 4 touchdowns. So there are 2 more games where they allow this many points or more. And we will watch those for you so you don't have to. Just like we did this one, or I did. Gregory, you watched the highlights, or most.
I did pretty good.
All right, good.
Considering my knowledge of this game.
I'll take it. All right. Well, it's always a pleasure. Nice to see your beautiful face, even if it's covered with a beard.
You too, Andy. Go Celtics. Celtics in 7.
Celtics in 7.
Write it down.
I've written it down right here. I promise. I swear to God.
Timestamp it.
All right. Timestamp it. 8:16 p.m. All right. Until next week. We'll see you later.